I'd like to call the Thursday, October 10th, 2024 voting session of the Keystone Central School District Board of Directors to order. Let's start out with the flag salute and a moment of silence, please. Wow, great part.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Okay. All right, roll call, please.
Dr. Baldino.
Excuse me, here.
Mr. Cannon.
Here.
Ms. Donahue.
Here.
Mr. Elling.
Present.
Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Knopf. Ms. Lynch.
Here.
Mr. Scott.
Here.
Ms. Smith.
Here.
8 members present.
All right, thank you. Next up, hearing of
Roger?
visitors. Yes.
I would like to address the board as a board member before we start this meeting. I have
Okay.
2 minutes at the most.
All right.
I think it's something that's long overdue.
Okay.
I'm not gonna point fingers at any individual. I think this board needs to grow up. I feel that this belittling of people who have different opinions than other people, the little whispers and all that, needs to stop. It's very unprofessional. It's embarrassing. As a board, it's embarrassing. I also feel that I am going to bring your name, sorry, Elizabeth, but when Elizabeth has multiple questions, I feel that she is being disrespected in the way that when she asks a question, people feel the need to make fun of her for continuously asking questions. I feel that needs to stop. That is also embarrassing. It does not make us look good at all. And that's what I have to say, and I wish it stops. And as president, I ask you to make it stop.
Thank you. Okay, next up. Oh, I also like to make an announcement that today from 5:33 to 6:12, we had a executive session. And this was in regards to personnel and legal issues. Okay. Next up, hearing of visitors. Okay, first up, we have Mary Kramer. Okay, Mary, and to everybody else, I have to read something real quick here. Okay, the Keystone Central Board of Directors encourages public comment from its citizens. Each community member may speak for a period of no longer than 4 minutes per board policy. Please understand that this is not a time for dialogue with the board. Rather, the board will listen to all the comments and consider them in further deliberation. Our individual emails are on the website. And if you'd like to contact your individual board representative, we ask that you please direct complaints of a personal nature regarding an individual employee directly to the superintendent. All right, thank you. Go ahead, Mary.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Midge?
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's fine. Nope, that's cool.
I have to sign everything, Mary.
All right, that's cool.
All right. Hello, y'all. My name is Midge Kramer. I am a parent of a first grader at Renova Elementary. First, I want to take the time to say thank you to each and every one of you for being a volunteer. I want to thank you for your service to our kids and the community you serve. A recent saying I heard that marks true is this: volunteers go across lines of differences to seek common ground. And I do believe that you want what's best for our kids. This past week has been filled with so many emotions. I have sent emails and talked to so many people on the subject of SEL. I know that no matter what I say tonight, you have already made up your minds on which way you will vote. So this is more to the families that will watch this tape and listen to what I've learned in the past week. This past week, I've learned so many technical terms when it comes to SEL, which is short for social and emotional learning, which broken down is self-management, responsible decision-making, skills to regulate emotions, goal-setting skills, and strategies to resolve conflict. Why, as a parent, would I not want for my kid to have these in his toolbox? Here are some reasons why I think not just my kid, but all kids should have SEL learning. Reason one, social emotional skills are the best predictors of young people going on to live healthy, fulfilling, and self-sufficient lives as adults. Reason two, when educators intentionally work towards each student feeling like they belong in school, students are more likely to engage and benefit from their learning experiences. Reason three, over time, SEL leads to more positive school culture and climate that in turn promotes greater student well-being and engagement in school. Another quote I learned this week is by Daniel Coleman, author of Emotional Intelligence. He says this, if your emotional abilities aren't in hand, if you don't have self-awareness, if you are not able to manage your distressing emotions, if you can't have empathy and have effective relationships, then no matter how smart you are not going to get very far. To the board members, does any of this sound familiar? It should. It's in the starting point of the curriculum that you're voting on tonight. If you have done your own research and reviewed this all on your own and not used Google or taken someone else's word for it, you would know. I did have the opportunity to look at all the Character Strong curriculum, starting with the pre-K through the 12th grade. I've taken several of the courses all the way through, and I'm still going over it. I have not once come across any CRT. I've even reviewed the books that some of the courses coincide with. I did take some specific courses based on what my kid is going through currently. Be Kind, Respect, that is in kindergarten under the bullying prevention lesson week 1. I also took the empathy because I want to make sure that he knows that sometimes we all make mistakes. Sometimes we need to have empathy towards someone that is not making the best of choices. I do want him to know that even though he was being bullied, that he himself can make the right choices in response to the bully. I do believe that what we practice become habits, and good habits grow character. Another one that I looked at, resolving conflict with the tree of choices. The roots, the heart, the branches. This one hit home for me. If they get this concept, this will make their whole life so much easier. As an adult that still struggles with this, it was so good to be reminded on how to do this. A course that I think everyone should take, even us adults. The one song that I listened to that caught my attention is this, Respect. And this is where I'm going to stray from it, because I was here at the last board meeting, and the respect that you guys have with each other is non-existent as a parent first time. So I'm glad you spoke up, and I think the board really needs to work on that, because as a parent, that was bad, really bad. And here I wanting my kid to come tonight just so that you know what it's like. And his dad said no because of the way things were handled last meeting. So go and listen to that song, because I only have probably 2 minutes left. With Andrew having to deal with the same bully in kindergarten this summer in the beginning of the school year, I want him to learn how to handle the situation. I won't always be around to help him. You guys getting more, the teachers get these kids more than us parents do when they're in school. And I believe this curriculum, it will help. Not only with how to handle a bully, but so much more. The curriculum is amazing. Andrew comes from a home that teaches them how to self-regulate, but some kids don't. They don't know what to do in certain situations. My child wants to learn, and I want every minute that he's in school to be the best. I'm the mom that asks him every day, how was school? What did you learn today? I've taught my kid, if you see something, say something. I've taught him to use his voice. Some days I feel like he's the class tattletale. There's no secrets when it comes to my son. He will tell me everything. I am the parent that reaches out to the teachers and staff, and I am the mom that will confront a situation when I feel something is not right. I am the parent that will call you out in parent pickup line, and I am the parent that will give her life for someone else's kid. I am the parent that will stand up for all kids, not just my own. I am the parent that will stand up for Nova. I am the parent that will stand up for our teachers and staff. I know that we all make mistakes, but we can learn from our mistakes. I am far not perfect. Lord
Midge,
knows I have
Midge.
carpet burns.
can you, your time's up, but I'm letting you go a little bit further, okay?
I have carpet burns from asking for forgiveness, but I am the parent that will speak my mind and when it needs to be done. to those in the school district. Our children need our help. They need you as parents, grandparents, and guardians to step up and get more involved. This vote will tell you exactly where the board stands. We need this for them. We do not need to get rid of a program like this. Our kids deserve the best from us, and I 100% stand behind the curriculum Character Strong. I agree that there's not going to be a curriculum that everyone on board with when it comes to parents. There's just not. You can do any curriculum, not everybody's going to agree on it. There's going to be something wrong with anything you find, but the reasons that were brought up last meeting to note to not vote yes, I have not found. Again, I did not find any CRT, no woke, none of that from what I have seen was in it. The parents have the right to opt out, so I don't see the chance of a lawsuit. They have the option to opt out. We do not live in the same days like we used to. The world is changing every day, and with that, so are our kids. Things we used in the past won't work today. Our kids are not soft. They're crying out for our help, and if programs like this give them a chance to learn how to survive in the world we live in today, then why not give them this new curriculum a chance? Again, thank you, school board, for allowing me the opportunity to speak, and thank you, Renova, for standing behind me in the choice to speak for our kids. Thank you to our Renova principal, Ms. Polito, Mr. Polito, teachers and staff for everything that you do for our kids.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next up, Sharon Redmond.
Okay, well, thank you to the board members. I want to just thank every single one of you for putting kids first, because that's the important business that we're here to do. And so with so much respect of the things that you do and the time that you give, Midge said it perfectly. She said a lot of things really well. So I'm here tonight and I'm wearing 3 different hats. I'm here as a community member. I'm here as a seasoned special education teacher, and I'm also here as a mother. And I come with curiosity and wonder. So as a community member, I've watched and attended many of these meetings, and I have wonders as to why they go so long. I just feel it makes it very difficult for community members to be able to spend that amount of time when they have to go to work the next day. And so I really implore you to really think about, I understand you have lots of questions, but to think about that when you're coming together and being a board. I also, as a special education teacher, I come in and I'm currently in the 22nd grade. And that means I've had 10 years of learning how to be a special education teacher and how to teach our most vulnerable population, our individuals with disabilities. And I was going to talk about what happened here last night as far as SEL, but Midge just said it beautifully, and I don't need to go back over that. I would suggest, though, that with those 10 years, that's just me as one teacher. You have hundreds of teachers in this district and dozens of admin. That means there's thousands of hours of learning how and what to teach our students. And so I ask you to go as the board to come with curiosity about how, listening to them about how and what to learn. And you heard Midge go into a lot of that information, and I appreciate her time doing that. So coming with curiosity, I think it might be important for you to go to these schools, right? See the trauma that is happening. It just makes me think of, like, I grew up in the 70s, right? I remember going and, in the morning and not coming home at night, right? Did you know, and this was just shocked me when I looked this up, that one of the top leading causes of death in the 60s and 70s were accidents. And today it's suicide. We need to do better. And there are options. And as you heard Midge talk, think about that and come in with curiosity. I come also as a mother of a son who has applied for a job here and has been working for the last 3 weeks here as a paraeducator. And as a special education teacher, I know what it means to have those paraeducators by my side teaching these children. I want you to know that it angered me to hear last week when I was listening about how that the statements and words that inspired others to to say hurtful and awful things about him on social media. And those words caused harm and anxiety. He's sitting here tonight not knowing if he even has a job tomorrow. He took a job as a paraeducator to earn $14 an hour, right? He took a job that he chose to do instead of working at Sheetz or in manufacturing for more money. He chose to do this. This is a hard job. And I was just very disappointed. So I want to thank, I know my time is coming up, but I did want to thank the many community members and teachers who've reached out to me and my son to apologize for what happened here last week. And I just don't think that they're the ones who should have apologized, but I do appreciate all the support. I also, as I end, I just want to say, I ask that the community or ask the board and our community and let you know that our teachers and kids, that everybody is listening and watching, right? And we need, instead of having our own individual hats, right? I ask you to take those off and to put your KCSD hat on and to serve those kids, which I know that you're here volunteering to do. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Next up. Elizabeth, I'll let you speak at the end, as long as the last person, okay?
Please.
Christina Anaskevich, yeah, you know.
It's Mrs. O.
My bad.
Sorry, I'll forgive you. So I'm Christina Anaskevich. I'm a teacher in the district, and last week was the first board meeting that I had attended in quite some time. And for a long time, I was very vocal at school board meetings when things got to the point where my voice needed to be heard. But then we started taking a shift in our district and things got really, really good. And I had a lot of confidence that we were headed in the right direction, and a lot of confidence that I could focus more on my classroom and my family and myself and let you do the work that I know you're able to do. But last week when I was here, I was flabbergasted. I had no idea what was happening with our board. And it really shook me to my core. When I left here, I was angry. I had a lot of people afterwards come up to me and say, I don't know how you stayed as calm as you did, because they watched the school board meeting and they said, well, I don't know how you stayed that calm. And I said, well, I have to make sure that I hold myself to the standards that I hold myself to. And those are the same standards that I hold our kids to. And so after the meeting, I, approached some of you to have a conversation so that you knew who I was and you knew what I stood for. And because of that, I was able to welcome insight. And I was able to welcome all of you to join me in my classroom to see what we're doing. And I had one person join me. I'm so glad that he did. And I hope that more of you come into our schools and see what's happening. Our kids are amazing. I get to go to work every single day, loving my job with my whole heart. And I get to love the kids that I see every single day with my whole heart. And then I get to talk to their parents, and I get to tell their parents how much I love their kids. And I get to feel that love 150% back in return. And when I look at our mission, I can't help but bring myself to ask you to read that again. We have to be committed to developing lifelong learners who are adaptable. And our kids learn to be adaptable by learning how to juggle life and manage their emotions. That's what adaptability is. And we have to be committed to making them resilient. They're faced with so many hardships, so many that cause them to have clouded judgments. And their judgment calls might not be the best all the time, but they're working on it. And as educators, we have to teach them how to do so many things. It's not just reading and math anymore. We have to teach them the important things that get them through life, that help them be resilient because they are faced with so many things that we weren't whenever we were their age. And we also have to be committed to building a high moral character. Well, where does that come from? It comes from making sure that we are focusing on that whole child. And if we don't do that, then we're failing our kids. And I can't live with that. I need you to give me the resources that I know are going to help our kids be the best version of themselves. That's your job. My job is to take what you give me and do the best I can with it. So give me the best, because our kids deserve the best. And now I just have to trust you.
Thank you. Okay, Elizabeth?
Good evening. My name is Elizabeth Lynch, and I'm a citizen of Mill Hall. I'm sharing my comments because I care. I want Keystone Central School District to grow and to continually improve. In some key areas, Keystone has improved and progress continues. Thank you. In some limited areas, Keystone is not improving. I will focus on a specific topic and how an absence of school board action may be harming Keystone Central School District and its reputation. First, here are my core values. I support local governance, input, and reasonable control over one's community, equal voice in all matters, and I support TCC's new goal to gain self-determination in all matters. But that will take time, possibly months, if not longer. I hope you share these values and support TCC's immediate goal. Tonight, an update on an issue all the school board members may not fully be aware of. And if I exceed my 4-minute time limit, I request the board allow me to complete my comments. Thank you. As elected governors of Keystone Central School District, you have sole control over the majority of locally collected taxes. You have a voice, the final voice. You, like most of our neighboring municipal officials, have appointed a Clinton County Tax Collection, or TCC, delegate to communicate your collective voice and state your position regarding activities relating to TCC's Earned Income Tax, or EIT. You also oversee and control other taxes. At all times, your TC delegate and any other Keystone Central School District employee has no official voice, regulatory control, or authority above you, the governing school board directors. The following are a few key facts and witnesses observed from TCC and Keystone Central School District public meetings. I will not state names. Instead, I will use the overriding term tax office, which represents a small, very small percentage of Keystone Central School District employees. The term tax office does not represent any Keystone Central Union employees. I attended TCC's August 6th, 3:15 p.m. meeting, September 4th, 5:30 p.m. meeting, and October 2nd, 5:30 p.m. meeting. The following is a condensed informational list for your consideration. I have read TCC's governing policies and guidelines as stated in the Pennsylvania Department of Economic and Development, Act 32, Policy and Procedural Manual, 109 pages. TCC's 2021 contract with the collector, known as the Keystone Central School District Tax Office, reviewed PDE's AFR Annual Financial Tax Report for year 2022, 2023, showing a net tax collection profit of $66,982.45. Keystone Central School District Board Policies 601, 602, 603, 605, 606, 608, 610, 621, Act 32, monthly report from the CLGS-37-7, and TCC's pending tax collection agreement between TCC and the Keystone Collections Group effective January 1st, 2025. I'm informed. TCC delegates were asked to meet on August 6th to discuss future EIT tax collection agency contract options. Unbeknownst to them, upon arrival, they were given a fully developed contract with a third party out of the county lawyer-owned company called Keystone Collections Group, KCG. Then they were told to vote on this contract during their upcoming September 4th meeting. TCC delegates did not give their appointed tax collector the directive to do this. Who did? And inside the contract, page 2 states KCG may also collect 4 additional taxes. Who gave the tax office the authority to take over school board controlled taxes and include them in a pending TCC EIT contract? It wasn't the Keystone Central School District Board. During the TCC September 6th public meeting, the TCC delegates learned for the first time that they have the authority to amend their bylaws and end the current weighted vote power system to a more equitable and equal voice. Why was this information willfully withheld from the TCC delegates? During the September 6th TCC public meeting, a municipal delegate asked why the weighted vote is in place. The tax office replied, and I'm summarizing here, "It should be that way because of podunk taxpayers hoarding suitcases of money under their bed," quote unquote. This comment appeared to deeply offend the community members in the room. Tax office recently reported they collected almost 40 million in local taxes annually. Total tax collections have increased annually. This figure has increased partially due to the investigative work the tax office has performed. They recover unpaid taxes, and TCC and Keystone Central School District operational budgets benefit. Will KCG Services or any other third party offer this level of knowledge and
Elizabeth.
local accountability?
I understand that you'd like to keep going. However, I have given you the same amount of time that I've given Midge. Okay? So can you please finish up?
Oh, you're quite kind.
No, just finish up, but don't be taking forever, please.
Okay. The tax office stated at a public TCC meeting, tax collection software security systems need to be replaced, collection software needs to be replaced, and you'll have to do a very expensive SOC audit if you keep your current collector, and so on and so forth. Recently, statements have changed. It now appears the tax office isn't sure if the security software is or is not secure, and now the SOC audit isn't mandatory but optional. Tax office recently stated they acquired a third-party tax collection rates by personally calling competitors on the phone. This occurred without the knowledge or directive from TCC delegates or the Keystone Central School Board. Tax office did not perform a scope of work or request for proposals. Tax office took a trip and personally visited KCG. Recently released tax office personnel communications suggest months of communications with Keystone Tax Collections, starting in March, stating what to put in their proposal so their narrative would be preferred option. It appears Berkheimer sent in a proposal in April, and the tax office didn't offer them the same level of consideration.
Okay,
Is this
Elizabeth,
fair? Is this acceptable to you? Do you support this method?
thank you. Your time's up.
I'll release it to anyone they want to see the rest.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Can I ask something?
Yes, sir.
If this comes to a point we're gonna need to vote about it, should we just hear what has to be said now, or we're gonna have to
Well,
redo this
here's the
later?
thing. This, right now, during hearing of visitors, we offer everybody the same amount of time. So it's not to say that Elizabeth can't continue this at some other time.
All right.
All right? So, all right. Now, with that, next up is the presentations. Dr. Endler,
everybody. I will leave the extras. I know there are some board members that are participating online.
Yes, thank you.
Very well.
Thank you. Thank you.
I'm used to talking and standing, so this is gonna be a treat. for me to sit down.
Not gonna be able to walk all over the place while you're talking.
I know. I'm not used to sitting down and speaking, but I want to thank you all very much for the opportunity to address the board this evening. And I also echo the thanks of the visitors previously. Thank you for your service to the board and the children in the Keystone Central School District. My name is Francine Endler, and I'm proud to be the Executive Director of Central Intermediate Unit 10. Dr. Redmond asked me to come this evening to talk for a few minutes about what is Central Intermediate Unit 10. I promise that it is a very brief presentation. I also thank you for the technical assistance. You do have this PowerPoint in your packet along with some other information. I'm a girl who likes paper and pencil still. I like to be able to take notes. Over the last year, as many school districts have done, Central Intermediate Unit 10 has taken a look at our mission and vision. So very quickly, our mission is to provide innovative and engaging educational services which support equal access to educational opportunities. Our vision is to create strategic partnerships promoting equity, access, and innovation. And everybody has a tagline these days, so we do as well. Building partnerships and inspiring solutions is what Intermediate Unit 10 is about. You can change to the next slide. This is a picture of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. There are 29 intermediate units in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We are right in the middle, and we represent Clinton, Center, and Clearfield counties. I'm pretty sure it's the only intermediate unit where all the counties start with the same letter. So if you're ever in a trivia game, you can reference that. The 29 intermediate units also include the City of Philadelphia is their own intermediate unit, and the City of Pittsburgh schools are their own intermediate unit. So 27 of us represent the remainder of the state. We are large by geography, larger than the state of Rhode Island, but we are, because of the rural nature of our counties, we have less of a student population. We serve we can provide services or provide supports to 24,000 plus students in that 3-county area. Large by geography, small by employment. We have about 140 employees. Some of my colleagues in the other intermediate units across the state have upwards of 2,000 employees. You can change the slide. We represent 12 school districts in the 3-county area. As you know, in Clinton County, you are it. You are the one school district. We also provide supports to 4 charter schools, and those are non-public schools that we currently provide services to, although there are a larger group of non-public schools who may just not be accessing services from us. And we have 4 career and technology centers. Next. You may wonder about the governance of an intermediate unit. We have a board that consists of 13 board members, 1 representative from each of our school districts, and then we have an at-large member because the State College Area School District is our largest district. They have 2 board members. From your board, Mr. Johnston is our board representative, and he also happens to be our board president. And a fun fact that you may not know, Mr. Johnston's father was previously the executive director at Central Intermediate Unit 10. So I think that is a very interesting, I think that's a very interesting full circle that he is now serving as our board president. Board members are elected to us by you for a 1 to 3 year term. Many board members arrive at our board not exactly knowing what an intermediate unit is, but I would argue that they come to enjoy being part of that. We do also have public meetings, as do you. We are at the end of the month, though, as to not interfere with any of the sending districts board meetings. Unlike you, we only have 2 committees, a policy committee and a facility and finance committee. And I'm 100% sure Mr. Johnston has told you about the years-long saga of trying to find a forever home for Central Intermediate Unit 10. We are determined to do that sooner than later. Next slide, please. Along with governance, the role of the IU board. So when we bring our board together, as one of the great teachers referenced about putting on a hat for Keystone Central, our board members come together and put on a hat for the intermediate unit. So their decision-making is not for the individual districts, but it is for the board. They appoint and evaluate me, much like you do with your superintendent. They approve professional and non-professional hiring. They are involved in approving contracts for specialized services. Our districts purchase services from us. In your handout, you have a one-page document that shows in the 23-24 school year, the services that we provided to you. Some of those are free of charge and some of those are a fee. You adopt the IU budget, which is very interesting. It is not like a general operating budget in a school district. I spent 21 years in a school district in Blair County, 7 of that as an assistant superintendent, and you had one big general operating budget that everything went into. We are a tapestry of budgets. We probably have 70 different budgets that run parallel. It is, and we have the best business manager, and he is not available for employment anywhere else. I do want to say that for the record. We are responsible for receiving, or the board is responsible for receiving and expending funds to conduct programs. We receive IDEA funds. We are the pass-through of those funds to your individual districts. And we designate, or the board designates, depositories. Intermediate Unit 10 is one of 4 intermediate units in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that has no membership fee. So your district does not pay any membership fees to belong to Central Intermediate Unit 10. We either provide services free of charge because that's part of what we are charged to do as an intermediate unit, or you purchase services from us. So there are no membership fees. When we come to you and ask you to approve our general operating budget, it's a very small portion, and you are not giving us money to do that. You're just acknowledging that that is what our general operating budget is. Next slide. Super fast history lesson. We were created in 1971 by an act of the General Assembly. It replaced the 67 county education offices and made them into intermediate units. Most of the programs at that time were fully state funded. Fast forward to 1991, IUs were restructured by legislation. When that restructuring happened, subsidies went down. And then districts at that point were purchasing services from intermediate units. Fast forward another set of years, in 2011, the subsidies were eliminated. And in 2012, the General Assembly said, guess what, intermediate units, you need to be entrepreneurial. What that means is that we look to create services that we can sell in an entrepreneurial fashion. School districts are not able to do that. We have some intermediate units across the state. In the when the shift was made to entrepreneurial work, they jumped in and became very entrepreneurial very quickly. Intermediate Unit 10 is coming up to speed with that. I like to think of us as kind of a boutique IU. We are smaller, but we are finding our niche in certain things and providing those services. Next slide shows a quick pie chart of how our funding looks. So about 27% is marketplace revenue. Those would be our entrepreneurial activities. State allocations is 25%, and then federal allocations are around 31%. So we are federally and state funded. Next, just as a quick snapshot of what do we do at the intermediate unit. So we provide services to our early learners, children aged 3 to 5. Who are in need of special education services through preschool early intervention. We are charged by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to be the LEA to provide those services, and we do provide those here to students in the Keystone Central School District. And last year, 185 preschool early intervention students were provided services free of charge by us because that is part of what we do. We also have school-aged services that we provide, so we could provide speech support, support for students with low incidence disabilities, those with visually impaired or deaf or hard of hearing. We also have the wonderful opportunity, only 9 intermediate units do. We serve adult learners, so those who are looking to get their GEDs. We do provide those, and 61 students in our adult education program were residents of the Keystone Central School District. When I met with Dr. Redmond earlier in the year, because you are in the K-12 space, you don't often think about those early learners or the adult education students on the other end. We also are involved in curriculum and innovation, which means we provide training, professional learning for your staff. We also help with school improvement plans or other things that may be presented to the district. And then we can do some bulk purchasing. Very proud to say that we have a strong school safety network and that Keystone Central has been a part of that. And I'm open if you have any questions. I'm trying to be mindful of your time this evening. Yes.
Okay, honestly, I don't remember, or I don't know. How did, in the 1971, do you know what the impetus was to get this? I mean, I've always admired the program. I think you guys do awesome. But is there a reason why in 71 that this, is there any reason that you know how it came to be, or?
Not that I'm aware, that's now that's curious. That's a very good question. I'm not sure why in 71 they changed it from county boards of education to, they may have wanted to regionalize because rather than six, that's my guess, is it made it more regionalized.
Okay, and do you feel that we're, I mean, you offer so many things, and I know our administration, you know, jumps on everything they possibly can for our kids. I'm just curious, I mean, there's so much here, and you see, that's the thing, maybe some point in the future, we can get a presentation to understand what we do partner with, so we understand what we're taking advantage, not taking advantage of, but utilizing.
This will tell you. This one
Right
page
there.
sheet will tell you about the different, in the different quadrants, early learners, adult learners. And then I am sure that you have staff that can talk to you about the special education services that we
Right.
provide, as well as the professional learning.
Right, the things that are happening here. That would
Absolutely.
be very beneficial.
Absolutely. This little card also can tell you with the QR code, it has our menu of services. So this is everything the intermediate unit does. And I do want to thank Mr. Johnston publicly for his tireless service to the IU board. He is a great representative of the Keystone Central School District.
Thank you.
Dr. Redmond knows how to get in touch with me if anybody has any questions, and I appreciate you letting me address you this evening. And I apologize, I have about almost a 2-hour drive home, so I'm gonna head out.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Francine.
Okay, next up, since we've had a policy committee meeting since our last meeting, we get a report on what's going on there from the policy
Well,
committee?
the policy meeting that we had yesterday,
Yes.
we'll discuss that at the next work session, but it was active. We got a lot of stuff done and we're working through some other things.
Very good. Thank you. All right. With that being said, Mr. Johnston, could you move the,
Okay, I would like to at this time make a motion to pass the entire agenda with the exception of any item or items that any individuals may would want to pull for individual consideration.
J6,
I need to get a second.
oh, sorry.
Is there,
okay. Six.
Okay, bills for payment. L personnel. M character strong.
I have a question. With the L1 personnel, can we just take my name off to be voted separately? I'm on for the volunteer list.
Yeah, Polly's there on there for
well,
volunteer.
Sure.
Paulie, you could actually abstain because you're on there.
Well, I mean, if you want me to, I just figured it'd be easier just to pull my name off so I can vote.
Okay. All right. Let's go with that then.
Doesn't matter to me either way.
No, that's good.
Thanks for letting me
So-
know, Polly.
Okay, well, if we're gonna do that, then I need a motion to amend the agenda to remove policy or remove Polly from the personnel agenda
For separate consideration.
or remove her for
I was gonna say,
separate.
don't remove me completely. I still
Well,
need to be voted on.
I don't want you going anywhere, Polly.
I'll make a motion that for this meeting, we remove Polly's name from that agenda.
Well,
For separate
for,
consideration.
remove her
For
for separate
separate
consideration
Right,
other than everybody else.
right.
Okay. Okay.
Any others? I have J6, K1, L1, M1.
Okay. Okay. Can I get a roll call vote on that, please?
Dr. Baldino,
Yes.
Mr. Cannott, Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Yes,
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf, Ms. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
8 members said yes.
All right, so moving on. Next item for consideration is item J6, September 25th, Finance Committee meeting minutes.
Yes.
Discussion? Oh, it's gotta be second.
Have to make a move to.
So moved. We passed that.
Need a second before we can discuss.
Yeah.
Okay, motion second, discussion.
Yes, I'd like to amend the minutes as presented, please. I did email out, minutes that weren't quite this subjective, but they were chosen not to be installed or used. So at the very least, under information 2, tax office discussion, the third line, change, remove the word appropriate and put in there basic.
Okay.
If I could, if the intent is to remove the subjectivity of the word appropriate, maybe it's best just to strike that word out altogether and just have the information.
I would appreciate it because otherwise it's just more opinions. It's very opinion based in the whole thing is. And also, in the third to last line, this is an opinion. It says there will be significant savings. No, we didn't have, no. There may be savings.
What was actually said in the work session or during this time?
I don't know that the.
Was that what was said?
I have no idea if that was the exact word, or you just take it out completely, so there would be savings. It's an opinion piece put in the work session minutes.
So then if we strike the word significant, just like we struck the word appropriate.
Well, there may be savings, that would be,
No, I believe the facts were pretty clear.
Yeah, actually, in that PDF that was presented, it shows exactly how much savings would be saved. So if you want, we could strike significant and just put down there would be savings. Because that was a factual document that was up there.
it wasn't a balanced presentation. We don't need to discuss that now, please.
What about changing would to could?
Could would be, that'd be fine. Change would to could. That's a good idea. Thank you.
If you read that whole statement, it is kind of
Okay, so
subjective there because
There
it
could
says
be
if
sig-
you follow.
there could be savings to
There
both
could-
district and municipalities.
Yeah,
We good with that?
Could be.
There, yeah,
Uh,
Yeah, because I mean, you read it, if the
Okay.
TCC appoints a new collector and the district follows to do the same. So it is kind of subjective because if you
Okay.
don't appoint it or you don't follow it, you're not going to save.
okay, so,
I
Change
make a
word.
motion, we change it, the wording from would be to could be.
I'll second.
and remove significant?
Yes.
Yes, removes the would and significant.
And the word appropriate.
Yes, and the
So we just,
word
we
Okay.
just need to approve the minutes with the changes.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
appropriate.
All right, all right. Yeah,
That was a grunt.
was that a, yeah? Tracy?
You don't want to know what you sounded
Sorry,
like.
that was an eye.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Can you make those changes then? Thank you. All
All
right,
right, moving on. I make a motion that we pass K1 bills for payment.
oh, hold on, we didn't actually, never mind, never mind.
No, we're good, Roger. Thank
Yeah.
you.
I'm getting excited here, all right? I want to get out of here. All
You don't
right,
want to stay till 10?
no,
Okay,
all right, go
just
ahead,
asking.
Jeff.
Okay. I will repeat that. I would like to make a motion to approve K1 bills for payment.
Do I have a second? Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Okay, discussion?
Yeah, I have a question for Joni. Since you weren't here at the work session, I emailed questions to you and you did answer them. There's no way for us to be transparent on the questions because I'm not going to sit here and read the questions I had. But there were two big questions I have. One we found was an oversight on a Jonathan Gregory that charged us for both gas and mileage.
What
And I
page
got
is
a,
that?
I
Okay.
got a answer back from both Joni and Randy Zangara that that was a mistake and oversight and they're fixing that.
Okay,
So
Oh, so it's still in here. Okay.
I was glad for that. It is still in the bills for payment.
Well,
The other thing was, I asked about a lawsuit and you gave me the info that it was for the tax office and we now know why. One thing I didn't ask you, and I'm sorry, I just caught it when I got here. On page 7, there's a bill for Eastburn and Gray from August of 24 for the amount of $54,145.35. And I know it's legal fees. So with that, I'm gonna ask if every month you could give us a report of what lawsuits and what lawyers are involved so that we can have a view of what we're involved in, how many. Just because if we're responsible financially for the board, we should know what's going on behind the scenes. And it's not to point a finger, but like if you had something, this is a special ed lawsuit, this is a disability, whatever, just so we have a view of what's happening. And the same thing with the tuition reimbursements and all that. If we could have just a sheet so we can see this is how much we're spending a month in tuitions, how much we're getting back.
do you want to someday see like last year, this year?
No,
I mean,
just
just
if we
for
can get a running
snapshot,
balance so
okay.
that we can
I
see.
understand.
And that's all I have, John.
That would be a good start. That's good. I like that.
That way we can see a financial picture of those items.
okay. So, we have a motion and a second. Roll call?
Oh, can I add one more thing to that for Joni? The same thing, but with cyber and charter schools. Just a list of which ones we're paying and how much. Thank you.
Okay,
Sorry, Roger.
go ahead, Christine.
Mr. Cannon,
Yes.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf, Ms. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
yes,
Dr. Baldino,
Yes.
8 yeses.
Okay. Okay, let's do Polly's.
Okay, I guess, how do we want to word this?
Where is it?
Move that, make a motion that we approve Polly Donahue as
A volunteer.
as a volunteer for the school district.
Hey, do I have a second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
All those or
It doesn't matter.
I think you have to do a roll call so I can
Yeah.
abstain.
Right, so, yeah, because you gotta abstain.
Yeah.
Okay, roll call vote then.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf, Ms. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
yes,
Dr. Baldino,
Yes.
Mr. Cannon,
Yes.
7 members, yes.
Abstain, okay.
One abstain.
Okay, now. The remainder,
Okay, moving on. Item L1, personnel. I move that, make a motion, we approve the personnel listing as presented.
as amended.
Oh, as amended, I'm sorry.
Get a second?
Second.
All right, discussion?
Yes. I brought up last week about what could be a case of nepotism with Dr. Redmond's son. I heard what Mrs. Redmond had to say. This is nothing personal. It's how people view what we're doing. And I know that we've hired people in the past, but it's come back to bite us many times. I actually had 2 employees who I will remain unknown that contacted me about it and said that they will quit their job if somebody is hired that can run to dad and more or less rat them out. So my question was, well, what are you doing that you're worried about? And they said nothing. It's how things look, what things look like. It's not a good picture. And I was told that there were several people that have been trying to get a job and couldn't get it, that it was already filled. So I don't know how we're doing it. I don't understand why we're voting on things after people are already hired anyway. So that's all I have to say on it.
Elizabeth?
Thank you. Again, it's never personal. I wish I had $1 for every time I had to say that, but it's not personal. It's not. But I will say this. I'm not, if I had to work in an office building and my boss's daughter or son was working in the same building with me and the building wasn't this perfect culture, it would always be in the back of my mind, you know, did I say that correctly? Someone watching me, not that I'm doing anything wrong. It just adds, to me, it would add another layer of unnecessary stress to my work environment. So if any employees feel stressed because the individual at the top, the superintendent's son is working in the building, I hope that doesn't happen. But if it does, I hope those individuals will take the time and report their feelings to the appropriate person, and that individual We'll listen to them and help them through it. Now, we're not expecting any problems like that. We never know what's gonna happen in the future, though. So that is, I'll be honest with you, that it would be my concern, but again, as long as the chain of command, which they do, listens to people and they'll be taken seriously. I don't like being put in this position as a board member, to be honest with you, and I hope it doesn't happen again in the future.
I have something to say,
Please,
and
Paul.
maybe this will relieve some people, maybe it won't, I don't know. I had a friend of mine reach out to me asking where she could get a hold of the agenda for tonight's meeting. And I told her where to find it. And I asked her, what's going on? Is everything okay? And she said that she had heard that it was a possibility that this gentleman would be unhired or terminated, or however we want to say it. And so I said, it is up for vote for this meeting. Why? Do you work with him? And she said, yeah, I do. I do work with him. I said, okay. I said, the concern is special treatment because of him being the superintendent's son. And she said, well, I'll have you know that he is very good at his job. He's wonderful with the kids. He's a really positive male figure for the kids that we work with. And she sees no special treatment. So I don't know if that helps anybody, makes them feel better, makes them feel worse, but that's the feedback that was given to me. So I just figured I would share that.
That was very helpful, Polly, and I have no doubt. I just feel uncomfortable, and like I've said my piece. Thank you.
Okay, I also have something to say. I actually was also contacted about this. I was told about, what he's doing and stuff like that, and that people are actually really surprised that this is even an issue, because for the $14.75 or whatever it is an hour, he's dealing with the worst of the kids. Good luck in finding somebody that's willing to do that at that price.
And be good at it.
And be, yes, and be good at it. So
We agree with that. I'm only bringing up concerns that were brought to me.
Those concerns to me are just ridiculous.
Well,
and the thing is, will you let me talk for a minute?
Go ahead.
Jeez, we have to listen to you.
This is
All right.
exactly what
Okay.
I talked about.
all right.
All right, am I not allowed to speak? I haven't said a word tonight.
He has the floor.
I know.
I think the part of this whole discussion that bothers me the most is the fact that what we're really saying is we are questioning the integrity of the superintendent and his son. And the fact that you think that he's going to run to him and that he will even listen to him as the CEO of our school district and you don't trust him any more than that? I mean, it's offensive to me to even have this discussion, because whether people they can say what they want to say, but he has as much of a right to a position as anybody else in the school district. And especially in the position that he's in. And for what we're paying him, I applaud him for wanting to do it, because those kids that he's working with need a good role model. And this whole discussion is just, it really is offensive. And why we're even discussing it is beyond me.
Okay. And then we're gonna finish up.
Okay. Number one, to call people that are asking questions and saying they're ridiculous is not how we serve the public. We were brought forward with a question by a couple people. I brought it here. I mentioned it, and now I'm the bad guy. That's not it. I serve the people that voted me in. And if people ask a question and call or email me, I will respond and ask the question. This is not a judgment against either Mr. or Mr. Redmond Jr. or anybody. This was a question that was brought up. It's my job to ask it. Flat and simple. There's no reason to get upset, say it's ridiculous or not. There's many school districts and businesses that have nepotism policies. We do not.
Yes, we do.
Do we? Because I couldn't find it.
Okay.
But regardless, if we have one, then we're not following it.
Well, here's the thing.
But this is a question that was brought up by some individuals, flat and simple.
All right, thank you.
That's it.
I have one
Thank you.
statement to make,
Quickly,
and then I'm
please.
done.
Okay, thank you.
Policy 011, Principles for Governance and Leadership. Work together with civility, cooperation, respecting that individuals hold different opinions and ideas. Stop calling other people's ideas ridiculous. That is, it goes against our own policy. By making that statement, this is ridiculous. That goes against our own policy 011. A violation of that policy. It needs to stop. That's why I brought it to your attention at the beginning of the meeting. It needs to stop.
Thank you.
And I'm done.
Okay, Bill?
I intend to vote in favor of this. Okay, I don't think this specific instance is a problem, but a concern about the appearance is. So that's all I'm saying. I don't think that this discussion was inappropriate or a waste of time. I think it's something we need to be aware of and move forward with. That's
Okay,
it. I
thank
was
you.
hoping to sit here and just shut up tonight, but
What?
I said I was hoping I could just sit here and shut up tonight.
All right. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf, Ms. Lynch,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
yes,
Dr. Baldino,
Yes.
Mr. Cannon,
Yes.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
8 members, yes.
Good.
All right, last item. Make a motion that we approve the Character Strong K-12 SEL curriculum.
I'll second that.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Discussion?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay, as Christina O mentioned, we know there's a lot of controversy over SEL programs, tons of it. Character Strong in particular. With that said, I went on a fact-finding expedition of my own this week. Monday and Tuesday. Monday, I met with both Christines, and we had a couple, 2 hours, maybe a little more discussion on Character Strong. And in all honesty, what I was shown really wasn't anything bad. Okay, the next day, I went and Mrs. Manning was there also. And we sat through a class. The class didn't go exactly as I expected, but it was just a small window to look into, okay? I didn't see anything really wrong, but on the same token, what I did see was kids not discussing any problems or hardships or anything like that. What I saw was normal conversation that kids have. That's it. I didn't see any push on a Character Strong program or anything. They kind of hit on it here and there. But what surprised me what could be done in daily talks and normal conversation, it doesn't need or require a $46,000 program. From what I saw, okay? A good guidance counselor could fit the bill, and I was told that. SEL does not have a national standard. Any teacher can teach whatever they want and teach their own thoughts and opinions to students. A few bullet points I've made after a week on examination, and I've had multiple emails, phone calls, text messages. Multiple folks have written me with good and bad views. I asked a lot of people in my region what they thought of SEL, not Character Strong, just SEL in general, and if they approved of it. Some did, some didn't, and some didn't know what it was. I had 18 yeses and 61 no's on having an SEL program. Surprisingly, I had quite a few discussions with professional folks in our district also. Some good, some bad. What is evident is every single one of us care about the kids. They come first. There is no doubt in my mind. And it was said to me, well, you must not care about the kids. Well, I think the special needs kids would argue that. And I know tons of other kids that would too. My heart goes out to all of them. Several teachers claimed they weren't given enough time to truly evaluate the program. I received statements of, we can push it here at the school all we want, but if it's not followed through at home, we're wasting our time. All agree we've had a bad problem with certain students, and ideas to fix are needed all over the place because we have no direction to turn. A big consensus was something needs to be done for sure, but this program isn't it. In the work session, it was stated 97% approved the program. That 97% was only the opinion of 66 handpicked teachers out of over 200. While I totally agree there is a real issue with some kids, I think it's a small majority of them. Why should it be a curriculum for everyone? It doesn't need to be, and it shouldn't be. There's a huge division between parents, staff, board members, and everyone is included. I'm the bad guy either way it goes because I asked questions and brought it up. We have 12 or 14 DPLs, I'm not sure how many for sure anymore, that were hired to write curriculum a few years ago. KCSD should be writing our own curriculums, not just buying them. During the work session last week, it was stated the administration looked at the video from the July 24 voting session and went over the minutes and stated they were going to investigate it. I don't know what minutes you looked at because I watched it 3 times and that was never said that we were going to go back over it and look at it more. The motion was made by Jeff Johnson at 23:39 minute mark to approve Character Strong and seconded by Tracy Smith. A lengthy discussion followed of over an hour and a vote was taken on the curriculum for purchase with the vote of the following: Dr. Baldino, Mr. Cannon, Mrs. Donahue, Mrs. Lynch, and myself, all no votes. Mr. Elling, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Knopf, Mrs. Smith voted yes. The motion failed to pass 4-5. With that said, I don't know why we're having to bring this discussion again, because our president, superintendent, and a few administrators put it back on the agenda. Our policy rules under policy 011, principles for governance and leadership state. Under act ethically, recognize school directors do not possess any authority outside of a collective board, except that when a board has made a decision, it's time to move forward collectively and constructively. With that statement, this should be a dead issue. There should be no fighting over it. We have other options. During yesterday's policy meeting, a point came out in the policy that said, and I quote, curriculum and planned instruction that embeds social and emotional learning, it was going to be included in that policy. I think this is something that needs to truly be looked at. With all of this that I learned from school staff, students, the public who put me in this director position, I have to look out for everyone's interests. Kids come first. I agree that kids need help, but it was said to me by two people, I went to school to become a teacher, not to be a referee in fights, not to be a guidance counselor, and not to be a parent for other kids. While I love kids and respect them and respect what we have to do, this is digging too far into what we need to teach. We have a school that is here to teach kids school. We are not counselors. With that all said, I cannot with a clear conscience vote for Character Strong after all I heard and learned this week. Too many lawsuits. That's my biggest argument. If this was such a great program, there wouldn't be lawsuits and schools dropping it all over. I think that we can find another option. I know they have to be out there. I think we need to investigate it a little bit. The board didn't have a lot of time to investigate this. And with all the controversy that is going on over it, not just here at Keystone Central, I'm talking nationwide. There is lawsuits all over. I do not want to suspect that we could end up in another lawsuit. After all, it says in our policies, we, the board, are responsible for approving curriculum. Now, we have a curriculum committee and they bring it to us, but something this controversial could have came to us. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Anything else? Go ahead, Elizabeth.
Thank you. First and foremost, yes, kids, absolutely. But this is a perfect example of something very important with a nice price tag on it coming to the school board at the 11th hour. I can give you a list of items that I have been a part of that comes to the school board at the 11th hour. This is what happens. It causes contention and it spirals into a deep hole when it could have just been handled when they first wanted this and brought to our attention. So here we are at the 11th hour. I am concerned that the board voted no on this. And then all of a sudden it popped back up on the agenda. I don't agree with that. That sets a standard that I do not support. I also did read about it, and although I agree, some things don't need to have national certification, and I don't want the school to be an institutionalized public school system. I want us to explore and look into things that work in other states and even in other countries. One thing I did read, which did cause me to pause is by Michael Strambler, a PhD, he's a psychologist and associate professor in the Division of Prevention and Community Research in the Yale School of Medicine, April 25th, 2024. And he gave good ratings for this, and he also gave good concerns. And this is out of the whole paper that he wrote. I'm just gonna pull one little part out. That the research out there, they don't have a lot of research because the SEL term, they don't really have parameters that they're researching because, as you know, Chris stated, it really is up to whomever to call whatever SEL. And not that I don't think our teachers and staff won't have good control over this. It's just that I'm a firm believer that if something comes up on the agenda and is voted down, we move forward. I'm also a firm believer that we hire professionals. We have an incredible staff. And I feel that once I saw what Megan Hall's team did with curriculum and what I saw the end result, I know we have the skills, knowledge, and abilities sitting right in this building that can do what's called reverse engineering. Reverse engineering, if you're not familiar with it, is, let's say you have two car companies. This car company comes out with this
Elizabeth,
incredible.
I think we know what reverse engineering
Okay, well, I don't
is.
know. Some
I'm
people
just,
don't.
I'm
Thank
just
you.
putting
All right,
that out.
what I'm saying, it's not plagiarism, but it's called reverse engineering, where you have this product that has a lot of great characteristics. And a team pulls out the characteristics that'll work for them, and they develop their own curriculum. And that, to me, would build a huge culture in this building, like Megan did with the teachers, the principals. I want something like this. There are key things in this that I know are of great value throughout humanity's history. So I want to see the school district develop their own curriculum to go for the exact needs that they want to do. I'm not in favor of just buying another software program. I'm sorry. And I also don't believe in the principles of bringing something back up on the agenda after it's been voted down. Thank you for that opportunity to comment.
Okay,
I also have a comment.
okay.
I know
Go
you
ahead,
want
Tom.
out of here, I want out of
Oh,
here.
no. I'm waiting for me to be
Oh,
able to make
go
a
ahead.
comment. No,
No.
but by all means, go ahead, please.
Okay. My biggest concern is you said 66 people out of 200. Not an expert at math, but that's roughly 25% or less are in favor of that. Which means
That the correction is that they were in favor of our students receiving SEL curriculum. That's the 66 people who said 97%. Those 97% were in favor of our students needing to have an SEL curriculum. It was not that they were in favor of Character Strong, though that number was higher than Second Step. I don't remember exactly off the top of my head, but the fact was it was 97% of our teachers said our students need to have an SEL curriculum.
but only 66 were asked,
No, only
Where did that
66
come
took the
from?
time to complete the survey.
and the other ones didn't complete the survey. 75% of the teachers did not complete the survey.
I can't make them complete it, Tom.
So my concern is why didn't they? What was it about this? Whether it's the SEL, the Character Strong, whatever it is, why didn't they complete it? If they feel that our students do need it, why didn't they take the time to complete this? What was it that they did not like about it? That's,
Big assumption.
pardon me?
That's a pretty big assumption.
Well, but they must have not liked something if they didn't complete it.
I don't believe that to be true at all. There's lots of reasons why people don't. What I don't want to do, Tom, is get into arguments or try to figure out what's impossible for us to know. If you have a specific thing.
It is.
Sorry,
I want to, how can I form an opinion on something if there's nothing that's 100% positive. Absolutely nothing in this world that's 100% positive. So what is it that these people, what's the negative? There has to be negatives to this. And
Sure.
in my opinion, personal opinion, which we're all allowed to have our own, 75% has a problem with it and chose to not respond for whatever reason they feel, whether they felt intimidated or whatever. 75% of our educators didn't respond for a reason. If they truly wanted it, they would have spoke up, just
And
like
I don't know that
all
that's
of
a fair statement because it was of the people who volunteered to do the curriculum, to pilot the curriculum, because it wasn't something that we made them do. But we also, during our pilot, it's a busy time. You know, it's a busy time of getting in your curriculum and testing. And so through that window, you know, not everybody piloted the program because it was optional. And I don't know that it's a fair assumption to make that they didn't pilot it because they don't believe in SEL or they had a problem with it. They also have academic responsibilities that they were trying to get in during that pilot time. So I don't know that that's a fair assessment, but I mean, certainly that's your opinion and you're allowed to have that. But I don't know that that's a fair assessment.
I can't form any other opinion because the people that have come forward who are very passionate, and I give them all the credit that they deserve for that, but they are in favor of it. They came here passionately in favor of it. If the other people who did not come forward are as passionate, why didn't they come forward? There has to be something that they're not liking about it.
All right.
That's my.
I also,
Okay.
I'm not arguing. I'm just
Okay.
Yeah.
stating the clarity of
All right.
my concern.
Okay, thank you.
I also had one other clarification on the lawsuits.
I am
Okay.
going to address that. Okay, so I actually have a statement also. Okay, first of all, the comment made about the lawsuits, the reason that those lawsuits are in effect is because those schools did not allow an opt-out option. This district allows an opt-out option. If you do not believe in this curriculum, okay, just like any other part of our curriculum, you can come in and opt out.
The parents.
The parents can, yes. Okay,
Now, I've been told that.
It's policy 105.2.
I've been told that, but then the other day, Christina said,
She may have said that. It's policy 105.2.
the other day, she said they cannot opt out of the one that we're already using.
it's already in policy, Chris.
Okay.
All right. Second of all, okay, whenever the vote was taken previously, okay, yes, it was voted down. However, the reason that the majority of us voted that down was because we requested for it to go through the proper channels, meaning it needs to go back to the curricular and co-curricular.
That was never in the video.
That was stated.
Well, there was a bunch of.
Polly
people who
said it.
watched It's not.
Tracy said it. Polly,
You guys
Tracy,
said-
you guys agree with
said
that?
You would like to learn more about it.
I
Polly,
can say the reason that I voted it down was because I felt like I was being rushed to vote on something that I didn't have enough information on and didn't have time to do my own research on.
Tracy,
Sorry, it's gonna be loud. Yes, I do remember you guys wanting it to go back to the curricular committee.
okay, thank you. Second, okay, now, continuing on.
That was in August. The July meeting was the July meeting.
Okay, continuing on. All right. Now, I understand that there are concerns about how concepts like CRT might be influencing SEL programs. It's important for all of us as educators and parents to ensure that the curriculum is aligned with our community's shared values and support students' growth in a positive and non-divisive way. Second of all, I want everyone to know that Character Strong is about helping students build emotional, social skills such as empathy, respect, and communication. It doesn't teach the critical race theory, but it does encourage students to understand and respect the experiences of others, which is important in creating a supportive environment. Also, at its core, Character Strong is about teaching values that benefit everyone, such as respect, empathy, and responsibility. These are foundational skills for success in the school life, and they are universally important for all students, regardless of their background. Now, I understand that there are some concerns about CRT, okay? But the focus on this is on building empathy and inclusion, not teaching a particular viewpoint on race or history. Another thing, we're open to working with parents who have specific concerns. There may be options for adjusting certain lessons or activities to ensure they align with the values of all families. Our goal is to be inclusive of different viewpoints while still fostering a positive growth for these students. Also, Character Strong helps students develop skills that go hand in hand with academic success. Research shows that students who build social and emotional skills are more likely to do well in school and have healthier relationships with their peers. Also, we believe, and this is very important, we believe that the parents are the primary educators of their children's values. Character Strong is designed to support what you are already teaching at home. We welcome continued conversation with families to make sure the curriculum aligns with their values. So, with that, I'm going to call a vote. Go ahead.
Ms. Lynch,
No.
Mr. Scott,
No.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Dr. Baldino,
No.
Mr. Cannon,
No.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf, four.
Okay, motion fails.
So a reminder, as we talked about in the work study session, there are kind of two parts to this. If the board does not adopt Character Strong, then we would like you to approve the repurchase of Second Step. We need to re-enter in a contract with them to continue the work that we've been doing in Second Step for a few years in the district.
Could we do that for 1 year and work on writing our own? Because I totally
We can
believe
work on,
there's
we
a
can work
need.
on it for a year. We need to talk more about the writing your own. Megan mentioned some, and I did in the work session, about what we think is the best way forward, and writing our own curriculum would get us to the same place that we are today. So if we can, for now.
I'll
just
make
let-
a motion that we continue with the Second Step.
Is there a second? Well, hold on.
Okay.
In order for us to do this, we need to make a motion to amend the agenda
Thank you.
Okay.
to add Second
I'll
Step
make a
to.
motion, we amend the agenda and add Second Step to the agenda.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Hold on, roll call vote.
We are voting on amending the agenda.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Dr. Baldino,
No.
Mr. Cannon,
No.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf, Ms. Lynch,
Yes.
6 yeses, 2 nos.
Okay. we are going to amend the agenda to add second step. So with that being said, do I have a motion to move forward with the purchase of second step?
I make that motion.
Do I have a second?
Second,
Okay. Roll call vote, please.
Ms.
Is,
Smith,
is this conditioned on 1 year, 2 years? What's the,
It's conditioned on 1 year. We're already using it,
yeah,
so we're just gonna continue it until we can look at other options because there's gotta be other options. It could even be better out there.
okay.
Cause we want the best for
I
our
just
kids.
was wondering the length of this.
Point of order, please.
Yes.
If we're going to do that, I think we need to make it clear that the motion is to extend this for 1 year.
I agree.
Okay, I make the
you.
motion, we extend the one step.
Second step.
Second step for 1 year.
Yes, I agree.
You second it? Okay. All right. Go ahead.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
Dr. Baldino,
No,
Mr. Cannon,
Yes.
Ms. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf, Ms. Lynch,
Yes, thank you.
Mr. Scott,
Yes,
7 yeses, 1 no.
Okay, thank you. And well, it's that time of night, Chris.
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
All right,
Beach.
canceled, or we're done.